Be ever looked in a mirror and felt a shiver run down your spine? What if I told you that for an ancient civilization, mirrors weren't just for checking your reflection? They were gateways to the underworld, tools for divination, and vessels that could trap souls. Today, we're delving into the dark and mysterious world of the Etruscan Blood Mirror. Forget the sleek glass mirrors we use today. The Etruscans, a powerful and enigmatic people who thrived in ancient Italy before the rise of Rome, crafted their mirrors from something far more visceral, highly polished bronze. These weren't just everyday objects. They were sacred artifacts, intricately engraved with scenes from mythology, depictions of gods, and symbols of power. But their true purpose went far beyond simple decoration. These mirrors were central to some of the Etruscans' most profound and terrifying rituals. The Etruscans had a deep and complex relationship with the afterlife. They believed the world was full of signs and omens, messages from the gods that could be read by those who knew how. This practice, known as divination, was a cornerstone of their society. They read the future in lightning strikes, in the flight of birds, and most chillingly, in the entrails of sacrificed animals. This is where the blood mirror comes in. Its name isn't just for dramatic effect, it's literal. Imagine a dimly lit sacred space. A priest, or perhaps a priestess, stands before a bronze mirror, its surface gleaming in the flickering torchlight. A sacrifice has just been made. The air is thick with the scent of incense and something coppery. The priest takes the still warm blood from the offering and smears it across the polished face of the mirror. The smooth, reflective surface is now clouded with a dark crimson veil. This was not an act of desecration. It was an act of consecration, a way to open a channel between the world of the living and the realm of the gods and the dead. As the blood began to dry and streak, the Etruscans would gaze intently into the distorted reflection. They weren't looking for their own image. They were searching for messages from the divine. The patterns the blood formed, the way the light caught the streaks, the ghostly shapes that seemed to emerge from the darkness all of it, was interpreted as divine communication. A clear, recognizable shape might be seen as a favorable sign, a blessing from the gods. But more often than not, the reflections were a source of dread. A distorted, grotesque image staring back from the blood-smeared bronze was considered a terrible omen. It could signal impending disaster, a failed harvest, defeat in battle, or even the death of a prominent leader. The mirror didn't lie. It showed the grim realities that the gods had decreed. For the Etruscans, seeing a monstrous version of yourself, or a chaotic swirl of shapes in the blood mirror, was a direct warning from the underworld. It was a vision of fate, and there was little one could do to escape it. But the mirror's power wasn't limited to passive divination. It could also be used as a weapon, an instrument of curses. The Etruscans believed that names held immense power. To know someone's name was to have a hold over them. In certain dark rituals, a priest would whisper the names of their enemies into the blood-smeared mirror. They would focus all their hatred and ill will onto the person, channeling that negative energy through the mirror. This act was believed to invoke the most feared deities of the Etruscan pantheon, the gods and goddesses of the underworld. They would call upon figures like Charon, the grim ferryman of the dead, often depicted with a hammer, or Vanth, a winged female demon who guided souls to the afterlife. By whispering a name into the mirror, they were essentially delivering that person directly to these terrifying underworld beings. The mirror acted as a conduit, a direct line to the forces of death and decay, sending a curse that was believed to be inescapable. It was a form of magical warfare, fought not on the battlefield, but in the sacred, shadowy space of ritual. The power imbued in these mirrors during such rituals was considered immense and dangerous. It couldn't just be wiped clean and put back on a shelf. The Etruscans believed that the energy, the curses, and the very essence of the ritual remained trapped within the bronze, an object that had been used to communicate with underworld deities and curse enemies was far too volatile to be left lying around. So, what did they do with them? They buried them. After a powerful ritual was complete, the blood mirror would be taken to a sacred site, often a tomb, and interred in the earth. This wasn't just a form of disposal. It was a way of sealing its power. By burying the mirror, they believed they were locking away the forces it had channeled, preventing them from leaking out and causing chaos in the world of the living. It also ensured that the connection to the underworld it had opened was firmly closed. Many of the Etruscan bronze mirrors we have today were discovered in tombs, preserved for millennia alongside the very people whose fates they may have foretold. Perhaps the most haunting belief associated with the blood mirror is the idea that it could hold more than just reflections and curses. The Etruscans believed these mirrors could actually retain souls. Think about that for a moment. When you looked into a blood-smeared mirror, you weren't just risking a glimpse of a terrible future. You were risking a piece of your very essence being captured. The reflective surface was seen as a kind of spiritual membrane. It was thought that a person's soul could be drawn into the mirror, especially during moments of intense emotion or vulnerability, like in the throes of a ritual. This adds another terrifying layer to their use in tombs. Were they buried with the dead to help guide their souls, or to ensure that their souls remained trapped, unable to wander and haunt the living? Or were they perhaps repositories for the souls of enemies, captured through curses and buried to be tormented for eternity? The engravings on many mirrors often depict the journey to the underworld, suggesting a close connection with the soul's final passage. The mirror wasn't just a tool, it was a companion in death, a final, silent witness to the soul's departure from the mortal world. The Etruscan civilization eventually faded, absorbed by the expanding Roman Republic. Much of their language, religion, and culture was lost to time, leaving us with more questions than answers. The Romans themselves were both fascinated and fearful of Etruscan magic, which they called the disciplina Etrusca. They adopted some of their divination practices, but the darker, more visceral rituals, like those involving the blood mirror, were largely left behind, remembered only as whispers of a more primal, mysterious time. Today, these beautiful and eerie bronze mirrors sit silently in museums around the world. Stripped of their ritual context, they are admired for their craftsmanship and artistry. we see the elegant figures of gods and heroes, the intricate floral patterns, and the graceful lines. But now you know their secret history. You know that these were not just objects of vanity. They were windows into another world, stained with blood and steeped in magic. The next time you see an ancient Etruscan mirror, look closer. Look past the green patina of aged bronze and try to imagine its surface polished to a golden sheen. Imagine it smeared with dark, drying blood. What messages would you see? What secrets from the underworld would it reveal to you? The Etruscan Blood Mirror is a powerful reminder that for some ancient cultures, a reflection was never just a reflection. It was a glimpse into the very fabric of fate, life, and death. So, what do you think? Were these mirrors true portals to the divine, or just the focus for a powerful, psychological form of ritual? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about this mysterious piece of ancient technology and magic. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey into the dark heart of the Etruscan world. If you enjoyed this exploration of ancient mysteries, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden corners of history. We'll see you in the next video.